Welcome back to Toronto, Dr. Oz.
Well, thank you, Maury. It's good to see you with the new helmet cam. Are you falling a lot? Is that what the bike helmet's for?
Well, it's so people feel sorry for me, and then they come up and give me a longer interview.
Perfect. As much time as you want, as always.
Oh, thank you very much. I want to find out from you. First off, it's Canada, it's winter time. What are some of the things we can do to prepare so we're not sick during the winter?
Well, first of all, I feel very blessed that I was able to land in the frozen tundra of Toronto this morning. I was a little nervous initially. I heard there was no snow, but then I saw the blowing snow as the plane came to a rest in the frozen sleet-covered runway. I felt better about it. So the beauty of being in Canada is you have all kinds of tools to stay healthy in the wintertime. There's one item that Americans are starting to copy. It's North American ginseng.
Oh.
Which is, you probably might know, a lot of the NHL players use. Mark Messier introduced it to me years ago, and he's right. There's a lot of data around ginseng in general, but North American ginseng in particular, because it turns out a very ancient system in our intestinal tract that allows our immune systems to be revved up and ready for battle in case we get invaded.
So should we stay away from some of the more consumer products like your cold effects and stuff that are that try and help us not get colds or stay away from colds? Maybe they don't work as well.
Well, a lot of the cold remedies are designed for the problem once you've gotten the cold or the flu. They're not really designed to prevent the event from happening. A lot of the vitamin products are very difficult to prove to be a benefit. I still think that in some folks echinacea makes sense. Vitamin C probably taken prophylactically might make sense. But at the end of the day, the most important way to avoid a simple cold is sleep, which we know is hugely valuable.
Which we also know I don't get enough of.
Yeah, I know you do for sure. I can look in your eyes and tell that. but without question, sleep is a huge tool in getting our immune systems revved up. I think vitamin D makes a ton of sense. Yeah. And then making sure you eat real food. Food that comes out of the ground looking the way it looks when you eat it, that will take your immune system to a whole new level.
I have a new love for quinoa.
Yeah, I love quinoa. All the grains, all the whole grains that give you the protein, nutrients, and some of the healthy fats that are found, for example, in chia. Have you had chia?
No. I've almost said bless you.
Oh, chia. Remember those chia pets in the 70s?
Yes.
So that's actually a whole grain too, like quinoa. It was actually carried.
What, you're gnawing on a chia pet?
You don't eat the clay, you eat the seeds with the grain coming out of them. But the Aztecs, in Central America, they would put on their sash these chia seeds. It expands about 12-fold when you put it in water. To the warriors who carry it across long distances and still be able to provide themselves with nutrients. So check it out.
One question I've always wanted to ask you is, are you ever afraid of being wrong?
I'm always afraid of being wrong. But, as a surgeon, you don't kill people by making the first mistake. You kill them by making the second mistake, usually. So we're taught, because your biggest enemy in the operating room is indecision. You've got to make a decision. Otherwise, nothing happens in the surgery. And time is not your ally. So make a decision, make sure it's the right one. If you're wrong, course correct quickly. And so when I see the most magical surgeries being done by some of my colleagues, that's always what I'm looking for. Not someone who can do a perfect job, but someone who can do a good enough job and is talented enough to make corrections if they make an error.
Now, I know that obviously we can't touch on, Whitney too much, but it was very tragic last night. It came out of nowhere. But one question I did want to ask you about that is, if it comes out that it was some of the problems from the past, if that's what they say, would your response be, we need more awareness, we need to see signs of members of our family? What would your response be if that's what it is?
Well, we've tackled addiction a lot on the show, and I only know about Whitney from the papers. That's tragic,
same here.
Of course.
Yeah.
But the reality is addiction is a sometimes life-ending disease. This is, her case may not be that, but it might be a sample of that as well. And we see in our lives and our friends too many times when that happens. You can often figure out if someone has an addiction problem if you're attuned to what's really going on in their lives. Irregular behaviors, bizarre responses to being challenged, and most importantly, when someone says, "I don't have a problem," and they're angry about it, it's a little bit out of proportion. I always sort of wonder if I've touched on something that they may deep down in their souls know is a problem. But when you have an addiction issue for the rest of your life, you often have to be aware of that weakness that you have. And a lot of the way people get through that is by feeling the love of people around them, and by being given a little bit of assertiveness training. How to be focused enough to avoid the triggers that take them back into that doldrum of addiction.
Last two questions. With my new very strict diet that I'm on with my trainer, I'm allowed one cheat
Just
day.
Evaluating the waist size.
Well, since the last time you saw me, I would hope that it's gone down.
Do we have a tape measure?
Gave yours away, right?
Oh, that's right. The mayor took my tape measure.
Oh, damn him. So I'm allowed one cheat meal per week.
Yes.
Is that something we should really just dive into when we're allowed a cheat meal? Or is it something that, yes, you're allowed a cheat meal, but maybe don't cheat as much?
You want to be rational in your cheating, but you do want to cheat. And the reason for that is you actually turn on your thyroid gland. If it's a low-fat or rather a low-calorie diet, a low-carb diet that you're on, your hormones will start to get a little irritated with you, and they'll begin to cut your metabolism way back. So if you can augment your metabolism by stimulating your thyroid gland with, for example, simple carbohydrates, a cake, then you'll get that desired benefit. Most important thing about your cheat meal, and we call it Fatter Day. Your most important task is to take away the cravings you may have. So whatever your favorite food is, indulge in that. You don't have to have 50 bites of it. Take a couple bites of it, wash it down with some water to get the hedonistic taste out of your mouth. But know that you enjoy what you crave.
Can you tell my fiance Matthew this, please, that I'm allowed to cheat?
He can cheat. Look at him. With this physique, he can do whatever he wants. Look at this physique.
The doctor said it's okay.
Yes.
And
he's okay. I diagnosed him as being okay.
Last question. You've never given me a true answer on this. I don't believe you've given me a true answer on this. What do you really wear under your scrubs?
You don't wear anything under the scrubs. If you waste as much underpants as I have, when the blood gets to scrubs, it hits the bottom layer too. And you don't, you have to toss all these underpants because who wants to have blood stains on the underpants? So surgeons, especially cardiac surgeons, generally learn to save money by not wearing anything under the scrubs.
So like a kilt.
But yeah, like a kilt. But we look good in our scrubs that way.
You sure do. Thank you, Dr. Oz.
Thanks, boy. I love you.
Good to see you, man.
Yeah.